been a heck of a year, and I'm here with Ron Hart to give us a brief recap on all the crazy stuff that's gone on. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning.
And welcome to the new show.
This is nice.
Pretty cool, huh?
This is pretty cool.
It's not like the old one was so deadly serious, that other show that I had. I mean,
this is much better.
This is more of your venue anyway, I think.
Couches and wine, that's nice.
Yeah, it is New Year's after all. Yeah. We're drinking wine first thing in the morning. No, this is coffee right here, by the way.
That's what they tell them.
So anyway, what's happened this year that is notable to you? Here's one thing that really sticks out in my mind, and maybe you have some thoughts on it. The Mandela funeral.
Yeah.
The sign language guy. What?
Yeah.
Is that the most bizarre story of the year?
Here's a guy that was a foot from our president, and this is a guy that's hallucinating and is schizophrenic and has murdered people, etc. He had voices in his head, but he couldn't sign language. None of the voices in his head told him he couldn't sign language. But he's very close to our president. And at the same funeral, Mandela funeral, that Obama shook hands with Raul Castro.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Here's a man who has prisoners sitting in prisons in Cuba untried, who's a communist leader, and then there's Raul Castro.
That was a vague reference to Gitmo. I get it. But yeah, that was a bizarre story. Was there anything weirder that went on this year?
Yeah, well, Mandela. Remember about Mandela? Great man. He went from prison to politics. In the United States, usually it's the other way around. Politics to prison is our template in the United States. So, what else happened? Well, I call it the year of the lie. Obama got discovered in a bunch of lies. The Obamacare, you can keep your doctor if you like your doctor. You can keep your policy if you like your policy, period. Big lie, finally revealed. Benghazi, YouTube, complete lie, just to help him get reelected.
Although the New York Times just came out and said, oh no, there was something to the YouTube thing.
Of course they did. That's the press office. That's Joe Carney. They might as well be a part of the White House press corps. And then you got the NSA spying, Snowden, who I think is more of a hero than a villain. And at least to this point, I think he's done a great service to America to let them know what's going on in America.
So that's why he ran to Russia, I guess.
Well, if it's the same way. You want safety and security and not your privacy. You go to Russia. And if you're drunk, and you don't want to drink, go to Ireland. Exactly, those are places you go. No, he had no choice, and Putin was the only one that would take him. At the time, and Putin's turning out to be quite a world leader. I mean, he tamped down the issue in Syria. I mean, Obama could not get people to go along with him in Syria to bomb there. Great Britain wanted to do an embargo. France wanted to just do sarcasm.
A sarcasm war. I think we should weigh in on that.
That's what the French want to do. They just want to be, that's how they want to roll. And Putin was the peacemaker in Syria. He's up for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Putin is.
Vladimir Putin's up for, and he should win it because he's true to form. What he's going to do is have all the other nominees killed.
That's the old Soviet KGB way of doing things.
Great way to win a peace prize.
Hey, Ron Hart, I can't let you go until we talk about this book that you've written. Now, Ron Hart is a syndicated columnist and humorist, and this is No Such Thing as a Pretty Good Alligator Wrestler.
Kids, politics, family, and why daddy drinks.
Oh, kids, politics, and family, and why daddy drinks. And mommy, too, sometimes, so who knows.
I've officially written more books than I've read. So
what's the deal with this book?
It's just a synopsis of columns. There's certain themes, gay marriage, politics, liberal, conservative, Second Amendment rights. There's certain recurring themes. You write for 7, 8 years a column. Certain things come over and over and over. So I took each subject, expanded it 750-word column, which is all I'm allowed in the 70 papers I'm in each week. And I went to about 1,000, 1,500 words and put it in book form.
So if you're an op-ed humorist, what do you do next? You write a book. That's what you got to do and get it all in one place. Let's talk more about this on the other side of this break. You're watching Waking Up with Don, and I'm waking up with Ron Hart. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. We're talking to syndicated columnist and humorist Ron Hart. And this book, I got to tell you, I'm just reading the endorsements that you got here, and our friend Scott Kent from the Panama City News-Herald, I think writes the best one. He says, read this book, do it for the children, or else the terrorist will have won.
Fred Barnes.
Just knowing Scott, I know that sounds like somebody.
He's great. I love Scott. And Fred Barnes had a great one there. He said that there's been no more important book written since Mr. T's autobiography.
Yeah, really. I mean, you gotta learn about Mr. T. There's some great ones here, And Bernie Marcus, the co-founder of Home Depot, says the problem with Ron's book is that the beginning and the end are way too far apart.
Fair enough.
I don't know. That's kind of a left-handed endorsement.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
You can't argue with it.
Yeah. So tell me what the highlights of this year in your world. You live in that humorous, political kind of world. What's the...
Well, one of the Kardashian, Khloe, Chlamydia, I can't remember her name, is getting...
Chlamydia Kardashian, I remember her.
Chlamydia,
You don't see much of her, yeah.
Yeah, well, she's getting divorced.
Wow.
Yes, brace yourself. We'll get through it.
I know.
She's getting divorced. It was announced earlier in the year.
I'm devastated to hear that.
The problem, Obama's got a lot on his schedule, but early next year, he's got to reappoint a new Kardashian husband. So it's a big deal for him.
That is a federal job.
Yeah, it has to do that. And there's a lot of people in the running, So, yeah, that happened this year. Miley Cyrus with the twerking, that was very important. She's looking for a twerking practice
How disturbing
partner.
was that to our viewers? I mean, to me, it was just 10 kinds of weird.
Yeah.
With that whole twerk
she went off the charts
with Beetlejuice there, or whatever his name was.
Alice Thicke's son. Remember the guy on TV, Canadian guy? That's a great song.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, that's what it takes today. You got to be more outlandish than the next person. Miley Cyrus, her numbers went huge after that. So that's the American.
I guess there's no such thing as bad publicity.
In this case, there's not. So Joe Biden, our vice president, was, he's gone a long way to denying the notion of any white supremacy in America. He's awful. He was sent to Asia. They sent him over to China for a little while, but it turns out they just sent him to Panda Express 3 days in a row to get lunch. That's all that was.
Panda Express, Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he told us to get your wife a shotgun this year too.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man. You should listen to Joe Biden plugs. He looks like the type guy who would have a condo flipping seminar.
Yeah.
He's got the plugs and the big teeth. He kind of looks like a lookout for a massage parlor. But then you've got going down the list. You got Hillary. She denied knowing anything about Benghazi.
Yeah.
And then when it was her time to testify, she said she fell down and hit her head. Remember that?
I do. How bizarre was that?
Very bizarre. She came to her office, and jokingly, her office staff gave her a helmet to wear, which marks the second time in Washington history a Clinton was asked to wear protection.
Around the office?
Around the office, so that's fair. She wants to live out to become president. Her goal is for the Clintons to become a 2-impeachment family.
Yeah, and I think she can achieve that.
She can do that.
That's a lofty
goal.
goal.
She's 70-some odd years old. She's got her pantsuits ready. They're steamed. They're ready. She's ready to go to be president. Compared to Obama, I would have loved to have had her. She wouldn't probably gone down the Hillary care road in the way Obama did with Obamacare. Obamacare is a mess. People's premiums are doubling. 5 million people are off health care, which is just the opposite of what they wanted. It's not been very efficient. They got the gold, silver, and bronze plan. On the bronze plan, you have to drive your own ambulance to the emergency room, which is a pretty good deal.
The rust plan.
The rust plan.
Ron Hart, are you making any New Year's resolutions? Are you going to make a resolution to be funnier next year, or not so funny, or more irony, or maybe some tips on how to survive?
No, I don't make many resolutions, and it's just kind of funny. I'm against protesting, but I just don't have a way to show it. So I don't know.
That's a frustrating position.
It is. I'm just conundrum constantly. So I don't do it. The resolution thing. Theoretically it works. People don't keep it up. I go to the gym pretty regularly and do the regular things. I'm pretty steadily annoying. I never get really bad. I never get really low. I try to keep it.
Well, at least you're consistent. We got to give you that.
Consistent level of annoying. That's what I'm looking for. Just consistency.
Ron Hart, it is a joy to have you on the show. It's great to see you, and have a great New Year, my friend.
You too, man.
All right, thanks for coming on. We'll see you after these messages. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm here with an old friend, Ed Naggiar. Did I say your name right, Ed?
You did. You said it perfectly.
You're such an old friend. Naggiar.
Silent G.
Silent Naggiar. Oui, oui. That's French, I suppose, right?
It's Mediterranean.
Okay. Well, I kid around with you a lot, but you're a pretty distinguished guy, and you have a lot of titles, and you got this whole alphabet soup after your name, like PhD, retired lieutenant commander from the Navy, former Navy SEAL. And now you're the CEO of Human Performance Consulting. You notice how I read your sleeve? Yeah. Human Performance Consulting. So, you're an interesting guy, but first I want to, first things first. Human Performance Consulting. What do you do?
Well, performance is what we do. And a lot of programs out there are based off of different things like looks, surface deep things. We base all our stuff off of performance. And the reason why is because that's the one thing that in the long run is what's going to differentiate you between people that can perform at a higher level and people that don't. If you focus on the surface deep things, it doesn't work in the long run.
I think this is going to be a very timely interview because 2014 is upon us. And is there anything that our viewers can do or start thinking about to make 2014 a better year, to make themselves a little better?
Well, sure. I mean, the first thing you can do is write down some goals that you have in 2014. If you don't quantify your goals, you're never going to attain them. So you have to write down some specific goals. And what I mean by quantifying is something that you can measure. So you can't just say, let's pretend you want to, I don't know, lose weight. You can't just say, I want to lose weight. You have to
We don't have to pretend, because I was at Metabolic Research the other day. I have to. But anyway, yeah.
We're just picking that because that's something pretty easy. Everybody can, and pretty much everybody says, like, 2014, new year, I'm going to lose weight. It's not enough to just say that. You have to actually say, I'm going to lose a certain amount of weight by a certain date for a specific reason, too. You can't just say, I'm going to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? You have to get to the bottom line. Why do you want to lose weight?
So I look better on TV.
Well, see, that's what most people will focus on.
It's about the looks.
They'll say about the looks. But what we try to do is try to help people to change the way they look at themselves. And instead of looking at the looks, say, I'm going to accomplish something that requires me to lose weight.
So not only will you, I guess what you're going to drill down into that. So rather than just the cosmetics of, you know, looking better, you may feel better. You may perform at a higher standard.
Exactly.
You may be more mentally alert because you're in better shape.
Right.
I mean, and
there's some consequences to losing weight that have has a better effect on you than just the looks.
But you're not a weight loss place.
No.
That's just one example we're using.
That's just one example.
So why would somebody come to you for your services, for human performance consulting? Would it be a company comes in and says, I want my sales staff to be a little more switched on, or I want to perform better as a CEO? I mean, who's your typical client?
We do both. We do corporations and we also do individuals. So yes, you're correct. We have corporations that come to us and say, we want to perform better. We want our executives to perform better. We want our sales staff to perform better, to be more productive, to have less attrition, because we have a lot of problems, especially in some of the industries that we work in. There's very high turnover rates where people end up working for a time and then they switch. I mean, people experience them in all industries, but in some of the industries that we specifically deal with, we have a high attrition. It's called attrition rate.
Sure.
So, and that costs money.
In my prior enlisted life in the Air Force, I was an Air Force recruiter. And we used to talk about burnout.
Right.
And it was a special duty. You could only do it for a couple of years before you had to rotate out. Now, if I were to go to you as, say, a recruiter and say, I'm going to do this for a long time, you could help me cope better.
That's right. We make you more, it's called resilience. So resilience is basically dealing with adversity, effectively and productively dealing with adversity so you can perform better. So if you learn resilience, then you perform better and you have less attrition. So and you do effectively counteract the effects of burnout, like you talked about.
So we got to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, I want to talk about how your life experience and your education has brought you to this point and what people could do to avail themselves of all that knowledge and experience that you have.
Sure.
You're watching Waking Up with Don, and we'll see you on the other side of these messages. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. We're speaking with Ed Naggiar from Human Performance Consulting, which I'm reading off your sleeve once again because that's kind of a mouthful. Now, your degree is in psychology, right?
Yes.
Or a special kind of psychology, right?
Industrial organizational psychology. It's a mouthful.
Now, you've had a lot of military training as a Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Right? So you learned about resilience and fortitude there.
It's a combination of the stuff that we learned in the SEAL teams. I have a lot of my instructors have SEAL experience, Special Forces experience, first responder experience that people have actually felt stress in high-risk situations. So we bring that along with the academic experience that I gained through getting my PhD, and we couple that together to bring the program. And the program is called Mission-Based Resilience. Mission-based.
Now, your mission could be anything.
That's right.
Now, it could be in the corporate world, or it could be you're a busy mom.
That's right.
And maybe you're a working mom, and kids have soccer. Someone's got to get to school. Homework's got to get done. You're running a household. Do you think that would benefit people?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The programs that we teach, they go across all demographics. You can be a oil rig worker in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, or you can be a mom at home dealing with a couple of kids screaming.
Yeah.
So the techniques that we teach.
Love those screaming kids.
Love them, yeah.
You gotta love them. It's amazing the species survives. But what is your what is your class? Is it a classroom experience when we go to see you, or is it a physical fitness experience? I mean, what would we experience if we went to go see you?
It's actually a combination of both. It's a class that we offer. It's a 3-hour class that we offer. It's actually our class is going to be January 11th. We have a class that indoctrinates people into the once-a-week class that we have that we offer on the weekends. But the class is a combination of both. It's physical and it's a classroom as well. It's both. We combine the two to deliver something that's new and innovative, never been done before. Because at the end of the day, we don't believe that people learn best by sitting in the
classroom. Yeah,
in a classroom. You got to be doing stuff. So we blend practical experience and we try to teach people in a new, innovative way.
Yeah, and you know, if you're a police officer, you're a fireman, or a Navy SEAL, or just a busy homemaker, you could probably benefit from that kind of training.
Sure.
I mean, we get a lot of it. We get parts of that thing, I suppose, if you're a police officer. You get parts of that if you're a homemaker, I suppose, just through experience. But you kind of bring all that together.
Right, by showing people, we break down the stress response. Everybody kind of is familiar with what the stress response is. Heart rate, increased heart rate, you start to sweat, you start to feel that anxiety. But we actually teach people about that stress response so that they can better cope with it. Because a lot of people just anecdotally know about it, but they don't really know it from a physiological and psychological perspective. So that's where we break it down.
And there's a reason for that response. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
I
it
mean,
can save your life.
Yeah. So adrenaline's flowing.
That's right.
But people react differently, don't they?
Right. And also, the stress response is important for survival, but if left unchecked, like for instance, when your kids are screaming, you get that same response. You get that same anxiety.
Again with the screaming kids.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good example.
Well, I know you want to jump out the window.
That's right.
And rather than do that,
we teach people how to cope with the stress effectively.
So how to recognize it, and then
right.
you teach the techniques needed to kind of channel that stress in a constructive way.
Exactly.
Am I doing it justice?
You're right. You can become one of our instructors.
I think I will. Serenity now. Nothing more stressful than this place.
You'd come take one of our classes.
You know what? I think I should. You know what? I'm going to come down and I'm going to take one of your classes.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Do
You
it.
can show me how it's done. Now, if someone wants to get in touch with you, Ed, or in touch with Human Performance Consulting, I'm reading your sleeve again. How do I do that?
We can have the website. It's hpconsulting.pro is our website.
hpconsulting.pro.
That's it.
So we could just go to the website, check it out, see what it's all about, and then we can send you an email or get in touch with you from there.
Exactly, 100%. Yep.
Ed Naggiar, did I say it right?
Naggiar.
Ed Naggiar. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
and good to see you again. And good luck with the new business. And keep those high performers performing at a high level, will you?
Thank you. We will.
We'll see you after these messages. Welcome back. I'm here with Nick and Josh, who are plebes at the Naval Academy. And you're going to play a little song that you guys had made up for a classmate.
Well, it's named after Prodigy, Jim.
Jim.
The name of the band is Chimola.
The name of your band is Chimola.
And our first song that we're going to play is Jim's Song.
Okay.
There's no lyrics, pretty relaxing song after the demeanor of the Prodigy that resides in our company. So we figured we would make a song that kind of reflects his amazing personality.
Oh, well,
For you, Jim. Yes.
All right, hit it, guys. Jim's gonna love it.
Jim's gonna love it.